Hey, this is Dr. Drew, and you can now hear every episode of Dr. Drew Podcast at podcast1.com. There's no place else you can get comedy, sports, entertainment, health, and advice, all the podcast you really care about. Like mine, the Dr. Drew Podcast, and a huge collection of other great shows, too. That's podcastone.com. Go to podcast1.com for the best podcast out there, like mine, Dr. Drew. That is podcast1, O-N-E, podcast1.com.
Podcast1.com presents the Ask Women podcast. A place where two female comics and a professional wing girl get together to dissect the female mind.
You don't know how I feel.
And explain it to men in terms they can actually understand. Boobs. Now, here's the lovely ladies of Ask Women.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ask Women podcast, where you get real advice straight from the source. Women, I am Kristen Carney, one of your hosts and female comedian. Of course, with me is Marni Kinrys, the best-selling author and relationship genius.
Oh, I like that.
And of course, Haley White, the comedic actress and
I'm just here.
And host.
You're the genius too,
and writer, and of course Mo, because I always forget Mo. So I did it this time.
She remembered me.
I had to look at him the whole to remember he was here because he's such a quiet little mouse. Not.
That was really sweet.
Harsh, horrible.
So Marni was talking about something about longevity, and I need to know because I'm starting to get crow's feet near my eyes. And I'm sure this has nothing to do with that, but it's starting to bother me.
No, I'm not talking about how to live longer. Well, okay, so I have another recent obsession. It's TED Talks on Netflix. I have a big problem with TV. I really need to get out more, but it's really interesting. So there's this, not sequence, whatever. It's a series.
It's weird that like someone named Ted could be like so interesting and offer so much.
I know, right? You would never think.
Yeah.
But yes, Ted is fantastic, and he brings together a great group of individuals to talk from around the world.
What does TED stand for?
I actually don't know.
Explain what TED Talks is for our listeners.
Well, it's basically a place where I'm sorry, I don't know everything about it. I've just been a fan like Marni, but people come together with kind of the most, this is the worst explanation ever.
It's technology, entertainment, and design.
Damn it.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Did I screw it up for you?
But all inventions and basically like the forward thinkers of our time are coming together in one place to talk about what's going on. So they'll kind of unveil the new thing for, any type of invention from...
Yeah, well, but now it's spread over into a lot of other areas, really primarily based in research and other people who are having an impact on the world and want to share their findings and research and really just their opinions overall. So there's this series on Netflix that is about love and romance, which is like obviously right up my alley. So I have been watching it at night trying to fall asleep to it, but it's just keeping me up later. But it's making me really interested and my brain is going crazy at 11 o'clock at night. But there was this one TED Talk video, and it's Helen Fisher, and she gave a speech on why we love and why we cheat. And I thought it was really interesting because and I'm totally going to not do this woman justice, but she was talking about how there's 3 different types of love that exist, and I actually forget the other 2. But I think one of them is sex, one of them is romance, and one of them is something else. But she mainly highlighted that mystery. This is the part that stuck out to me. Mystery creates dopamine in your brain.
Whoa.
So mystery and what we've talked about before about curiosity, excitement, all of that creates dopamine.
Play the game Clue.
So does orgasms.
It does? Is it dopamine that it
Yeah,
is?
she said
It's a pleasure. Oh, actually, so Haley, you looked it up. So what is the definition of dopamine?
Well, I was interested because I had heard a lot about serotonin and also dopamine and was confused on what was the difference there. So dopamine basically it regulates muscle movement, motivation, and the sensation of pleasure. And serotonin affects mood, impulsiveness, and social behaviors. So that makes sense that obviously when you have more dopamine, you're more...
But it's a reward.
When you don't have
reward
dopamine,
based.
you're dope and
you feel like you're getting something. So when you're around somebody that creates mystery or curiosity, or there's something exciting, similar, I'm bringing up The Bachelor again, but all of their dates probably produce dopamine, which is why they're all messed up on that show and falling in love instantly because they're constantly doing new things and exciting things. But so she tells this one story, which I think will be helpful for people listening. So if you're in a new relationship, old relationship, you're trying to create attraction in somebody that you like. So she talks about 2 of her students. So one student is a guy, one's a girl, and the guy was trying to use this new science that they learned about increasing dopamine to create romantic attachment or romantic love. And so what he did was this girl who in his class, he really, really liked her.
Who didn't like him
As well, was not interested in him. He decided to take her on this rickshaw ride. So it's like bumpy and you're grabbing onto each other and like there's high risk involved and it's exciting. And so he's like totally
human
pumped up.
slavery is involved.
Exactly.
Shackles.
That always raises my dopamine.
So he is like so excited to take her on this adventurous date in his mind, you know, or just adventure in general to raise her dopamine levels. And they get off of this rickshaw and she's like, oh my God, she is totally going to pounce all over me now. And she says, oh my God, how cute was that rickshaw driver? So basically the attraction wasn't stemmed with him, but it was geared towards somebody else. So she became more attracted to. I'm telling this horribly. She tells it way better in the speech, but. There was an increase in attraction, but it happened to be towards
and
the
it was
rickshaw.
toward the guy who was causing the dopamine factor to go up, not for the dude who was experiencing the ride with her.
It's the guy who was leading it all.
Exactly,
Yes.
but I thought that was
That's why I love
interesting.
horses.
It was interesting because then I woke my husband up after that, and then the next morning too, because my brain couldn't stop thinking about this, about how I think that once you get into a long-term relationship, the increases in your dopamine levels go down. They do. You don't continuously experience mystery and curiosity.
Marriage,
you can.
the dopamine killer.
But you can. But I think a lot of people forget to. And actually, there's this other talk that I was watching, and they were talking about having kids, and they were saying that actually the dopamine levels go back up once you start having kids because again, it's new, mysterious, curious situations
That's
that you're
interesting. Really?
that you're getting involved in.
That makes sense, though.
So it's
One of the big problems she was talking about, and it's a big problem in our society, is a lot of people who are on antidepressants.
Yes.
And how antidepressants kill your dopamine levels.
Really?
And how scary of a thing that is, because that's really going to inhibit you from feeling love and feeling the feelings of being in love, and it will most likely negatively affect your relationships in your life.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
love
you're
that
feeling
you
just
watched it.
you're feeling
I
kind of
did watch
numb,
it.
It's like, I'm not feeling sad, but you're not able to feel happy either.
Yeah.
And God, I'd much rather be able to feel the highs and lows.
For sure, than
Right.
having this neutral level where you're not really experiencing anything, because then
That's
there's no
tough.
attachment there, or there's no connection there if you don't have that. So I was thinking, number one, to talk about longevity and how this comes into play, but then also talking about how the guys that are listening, if they are single, can use this science similar, to the way that her student did to create attraction with women that they're interacting with.
Well, question for you. So for this guy who took this woman on this date, initially there wasn't really attraction. He tried to make it happen, and there still wasn't attraction. So they still have to have a little bit of an interest to begin with, right?
sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of taking her on a rickshaw ride where you have a captain, that could be the hot guy, take her on a kayaking adventure, or take her on like a doubles bike adventure, or something where it's like two people are in it together and you are kind of leading the adventure instead of being on the ride, falling in love with the rickshaw guy.
So that's actually a good idea. So why I wanted to talk about in this week's chapter of the Man's Playbook is about how to use dopamine triggers to create attraction either for the short term or for the long term.
Yeah, dopamine triggers. I love how you say the man's playbook.
On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing.
The longest intro ever.
I know.
But
I feel like I want to slap people after I hear that. That's what it's supposed to do, right? Like it's supposed to build up your warrior.
Mo gets
I
pumped
get
up.
so pumped up when
Your
it goes,
face.
for those fingernails. And I'm like, "Ah!"
Yeah, your face. You're going into beast mode when that was
Seriously,
happening.
is that what it looks like?
I get-
I feel like
yeah.
hair's going to start coming out all over.
Sprouting out.
Yeah. I was like, "Ah!"
The testosterone is crazy. So for this week's chapter in the Man's Playbook, we're talking about dopamine and how to use that to get girls.
Yeah, and this could be even in the beginning of your relationship or even after 10 years when you feel like you need that excitement.
Yeah, just take their drink and break off a little dopamine in that drink and hand it to them.
So what are ways? Okay, so we talked about, guys who are going out on first dates with a girl, things that they can do. Maybe we can throw out some other options of like fun things that can create mystery or create curiosity.
Yeah.
Or can you do that on a date in a coffee shop? Can you still build? No?
My best first date was this guy who took me...
the guy you're not marrying.
No. But this guy took me to the San Gabriel Mountains. There's this thing called Monkey Canyon. Google it. And it basically is this like watering hole. It's like these... kind of like these like lakes that are in between these mountains, and you literally climb down this mountain into these watering holes, and you hike all the way through it, and you have to swim and have to walk.
Oh, cool.
And it was by far one of the coolest things ever. And there's like cliff diving, and I'll never forget.
First date?
It was my first date, and the guy, was kind of weird, but the date was so good that it kept me interested probably way longer than I would have been because it was such an adventure.
Did you feel attached to him because of this? Or were you just like, this is kind of cool, I want to keep doing more adventurous stuff?
A little bit of both. Probably the latter. This is kind of cool. I want to be doing more adventurous stuff. But it was so interesting. I've never forgotten it. And it was like this whole thing. We got back to the car, and he had food waiting for us. And it was just so thoughtful. I think it just created this like attachment a little bit, like, wow, I want to be part of this adventure with him.
Yeah,
for sure.
And what helps for these guys taking the women out on a date is that they've experienced the adventure already before. They are a master
Right, so it's
of...
not scary.
They are the leader. They are the master of this. The woman is scared, and he is leading her through this obstacle, and she will always feel safe and protected by him.
That's like
so
going to the
smart.
restaurant where you go to all the time, and they know you, and you kind of own that space.
Yeah,
it's the
absolutely.
same thing.
It's about being comfortable and like letting her experience it for the first time.
So instead of, jumping off the cliff by yourself to show off to her, hey, watch me jump, you hold her hand and say, let's do this together. Yeah. I'm here to lead you through it. And you guys jump off the cliff together into the water.
So what's like a more low-key version of this? Because like not everybody has access to cliffs they can jump off
I used to do this all the time, and it worked like a charm. Luckily, I lived in Marina Del Rey. I had two bikes. And I would be like, let's go on a bike riding adventure. Instead of taking the bike path, I would bike on the road, to get to certain places. I'd be like, look, you follow me right now. We're going to be biking on the road. There's going to be cars driving by. You stick with me. You're going to be fine. So I'd lead her on this event. It kind of, not dangerous, but like exciting adventure.
Meanwhile, you're wearing 2 helmets and she has 0.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm doing all these like really gay signals when I'm turning.
It's like one pedal. Yeah. Can you imagine Mo? Like,
but like, I led her on this fun adventure to get to the beach. And then when, after that excitement was done, then we'd be riding on the beach. It'd be a great time. I'd have a dinner place set up where we were going to go in. People knew me there. I'd ride her back on the bike. It was the cheapest date.
Yeah.
And it
I
worked
love bike rides.
10 out of 10 times.
I love that. I think it's fantastic. It's a bonding experience, too, rather than just meeting for coffee. And you're doing something that's kind of fun. Like, not that I do this.
And who rides bikes anymore?
I know. It's true.
Does.
Well,
it's
even
an adventure.
Alcoholics.
Well, when I met... Yes,
I do every day.
Well, even when I met Jessica, who's been on this show before, I like to bond and meet people that I'm possibly going to work with in interesting situations rather than them coming over to my house, because I find or to my home office, I just find that you see a lot more in a person if you're doing an activity with them. So I said to her, why don't we go on a hike on Saturday? And we went hiking, and it's like an instant connector, or it's an instant like, this is not working. You see right away if there is a connection there, and it did make me have more of a bond towards her, to be honest, than other people that I've worked with before.
Or a rock climbing gym. But make sure you know how to be the leader, or else the instructor is.
But the thing is like sometimes you don't even have to be the expert at it. You can just be the guy who's okay with not being the expert at it.
He's okay with not looking cool all the time and being somewhat vulnerable. That's that vulnerable thing that people, kind of guys ask. How do I be vulnerable?
Yeah.
Like
fine. It's super sexy when a guy's like, oh, watch me scale this wall. And you're like, oh, my God, you're amazing.
Or
but
it's
it is
like,
even better.
or it's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like, you just came here to show off, and now I'm your audience.
No, I'd start climbing the wall and look down and be like, grab my hand. Just take my hand.
I got you.
I got you.
Jack, never let go.
Maybe that is true.
Okay,
so that's good for dating and for guys. Like, just even knowing that mystery not creates dopamine, but it releases or it's not even create. What is it? It triggers dopamine. Triggers dopamine. Mystery triggers dopamine. Okay, so don't like throw up your information on a woman or pounce on her by giving everything about you.
Mystery.
Keep some stuff to yourself.
Excitement,
and that's more,
adventure.
It's beyond just that first date. It's also like we were talking about a lot of that banter. It's a lot of that just not showing all your cards at once.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing was orgasms trigger dopamine as well. High levels.
You already said that.
No, but
You're
what
creepy.
I'm saying is for our men who are just trying to get their rocks off, yo, buddy, if you really like this girl and you want to get her attached, you make sure you take care of her first and foremost.
For sure. Well, and foreplay, I would think mystery too. Like, ooh, where's he going with this? Where's his tongue going? Where's his hand going? Like, what?
And foreplay in foreign places.
Exactly.
Hey.
But what were you saying before? Shoot, it was about dopamine.
Serotonin? No,
I totally forgot. I totally lost it. Okay. Anyway, sorry. But damn it, I forgot. But I was going to talk about, in longer term relationships. Because I'm sure some people who are listening are in relationships or may have just broken up with somebody and maybe didn't understand why they've gone through that breakup and why that girl left them. And I will say, because her video was about why people cheat. And I actually don't think she really got to that point of why people cheat.
Because I was like, I want to hear this.
I want to hear it too.
That's the mystery. She's raising your dopamine.
Oh, damn it, my dopamine is so high since I've watched this.
So deep.
But that is honestly why people leave relationships and why people cheat. Because if you're not consistently having your dopamine levels rising from your partner or the person that you've chosen to have in your life, and either you're getting it from elsewhere or from nowhere at all, you're going to become bored with that individual. And you're going to possibly feel unsexy or unwanted, and because if the guy's not putting in the effort into you to raise your dopamine levels, and you vice versa doing it back to him, I think that starts the downfall of a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
I think it's tricky though, because it's like you can't always be looking to them to like be my adventure. But, it's like you're tired as shit. You had a long day. I get that, but I think it's all about finding things that you're into together. It's really cute actually. My parents are like really into. My mom was like never athletic, but now she's like super into tennis and golf. And it sounds really cheesy, but it's so cool because they're like really athletic together, and that's their thing. They're able to go do that.
My mom's dopamine levels get raised because it's such a mystery. Like if my dad's going to pay the next bill, you know what I mean?
She's like, oh, he's so exciting. Love that man of mystery.
Are the lights going to be on tomorrow? No, I'm just kidding.
Am I going to eat tomorrow?
No, but you bring up an interesting point, Haley. It's like, is that his responsibility? Because it's funny, because we always do, as women, I know I expect my man to be above human.
Yeah.
I expect him to be able, because he's a producer, right? He just had a massive shoot where honestly, he's an introvert too. So he needs to recharge on his own. But his brain was just on full throttle for about a month in a row, and he had a shoot before that too. So it has not taken a rest. And he is exhausted. But yet, I still want him to put effort into increasing my dopamine levels. But is that fair? Is that fair?
Of course it is. You're still in the relationship. Just because he's tired, I get that. You're able to understand that. But I think that you're allowed to be able to be like, hey, I still want to go out and have a good time with you.
That's different. That's different.
It's balance. And we struggle with this in our lives. All people do.
Yeah.
You really have to make that time. Because, the best part about something new, a new relationship, is dopamine's already created because you don't know anything about that person, right? So,
or are they going to call?
Or are they going to call? All these factors that are X factors you don't know. But when you've been with someone for so long, you already know everything. Mm-hmm. So the only way to create it is to do some work. Is to, okay, I produced for a whole month. Well, now let me just take a week off or take 3 days off and disappear with my lady somewhere new, go on an adventure, have some hotel sex, maybe, have her tickle my butthole, something different, just to kind of spice it up.
Hotel sex to tickle my butthole. But hotel sex, by the way, is the best.
Best sex.
I think I've talked about Hotel Tonight. We should probably have them on
It's
sponsor.
the best if you're doing it, not if you're the neighbor next door.
Oh, yeah. You've been the neighbor, huh? I've probably been the person doing it. I'm sorry.
I like to book my trips where Kristen is staying, so I could be in the hotel right next to her and just fucking bang it out.
He's totally okay with Motel 6s, apparently.
He's just there by himself, too, just trying to annoy you.
He's just jumping on the bed.
Yeah, he's like, take this, Kristen.
But take her out for a night to a random hotel in your hometown. That's something everybody can do. I mean, I know.
But is it something everybody can do? Because,
well, it's expensive, I guess.
Right, it's expensive. So, but I'm trying to get into the brain for women and for men of what we can expect from the other person. Like, what is the lowest grade level of what a guy can do when he's really exhausted and drained, but what he could do for a woman to raise that dopamine level and show to her that it's not boring, it's not dull, I'm still into you, and you still excite me, and I want to show you we can still be exciting. So,
are you a bath taker?
I am a bath taker.
One time,
that's a good one.
Dave had like a bath for me. It was really sweet, and like he had candles lit, and it was pretty cool. I was like,
I like that.
Yeah. And he doesn't go anywhere. He just gets your bath set up. I don't know.
Then he leaves.
One time,
Yeah,
like,
no, then
see ya.
he totally leaves.
Yeah.
I like put my Zen music on.
Oh, I love that.
One time I got some blankets and took my girl to the beach at night. And it was like, a secluded beach at night. And then we had
So she didn't know she was going to be murdered, and it was such a mystery?
Well, no, not that. But we had a little beach sex, and that was exciting.
But so what?
Ouch.
So there's the excitement there. But what creates the mystery for people who are in long-term
You're-
relationships?
Well, it's those exciting places that you have to go, or those little exciting things that you do, like taking a bath or going to a secluded beach at night with a blanket. These little things that just show you care.
And do women have to do this for men too?
Fuck yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know what I struggle with? So it's like they always are planning stuff and paying for stuff. I'm like, well, like I feel like I need to try harder too and plan some things. Like, I always have like events and stuff, but it's like, what are things like, what type of stuff, Mo, do you like that like she does for you? That's like, I don't know.
I'll answer for Mo. I know recently I went horseback riding, and my boyfriend had never been on a horse ever in his life.
I cannot picture you on a horse.
I'm great. I'm actually taking horseback riding
No,
lessons.
you aren't. Can I come with you?
Yes, you should come. I
will totally.
They do group lessons, and it's English saddle.
Ooh, I know that.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
Bareback,
So wait, did you plan
Western?
this?
I somewhat planned it. We are going to go to Big Bear for the weekend. For those of you who aren't from Los Angeles, it's basically like the only place to go, really somewhat close. That's not the only place, but it's a really great like ski getaway kind of place. So anyway, it was in the summer months, and he had never been on a horse, and I think for him, it raised his dopamine levels because I had been on a horse. I'm not a professional at all, but I kind of knew what I was doing. I knew how to, I don't know, make the horse go and stop.
Yeah, which is impressive.
Yeah, and he literally was in love with not only the horse, but like me. It was a really great experience.
I love that.
And it's not that expensive.
Kristen.
But Mo, I want to hear from you. Like, what kind of things can women do that are equivalent to the things that we're requesting to help out with long-term relationships?
I think
Keep it alive.
every relationship's going to be different. My girlfriend doesn't cook. It's just not her thing. But if I came home one time and there was like a dinner prepared and she was done up all nice and kind of remade this little, even though that's so simple, even if she bought the dinner from somewhere but prepared it nice, that would be like, oh my
Men
God.
are so into that, huh?
Like we're into like men like to be taken care of like a woman. I mean, by a woman. And I know it's kind of sick, but almost like similar to the way their mom used to just
of course.
Like, take
Domestic
care of
roles. It still is appealing. My husband loves when I cook.
Oh my God. And I think there's something so attractive about that when a woman's like, I know you had a tough day, but I want to please you today. Mm-hmm. So whatever you want, I'm here for you. And that is really hot. And that's going to get us up and going.
Really? So but it's interesting how they're different things.
But it's got to be something that you don't do if it's something you do, like me, I cook for my girl all the time, right? But I do it all the time. So when I say that to other women, I cook for my girl, they go, oh my God, that's so sweet. I'm like, go tell my girl that I cook for her like every night. Right?
Well, that's why I don't cook. So when I do, he's like, whoa, look at this, mac and cheese. I'm like, yeah.
You're the best.
So
I love you so much.
Or say like he's complaining, like, sometimes I complain I don't have clothes or I didn't have clothes. My girl just went out and like bought me clothes. And it was just like sitting there waiting for me. And I'm like, damn, that's
that's great.
Cool and hot.
And something else you can do is know what you're good at and know what they've never done before and or are bad at.
Yeah.
And so you can teach them.
I love that. I love kind of like discovering a new thing together that someone else shows you.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like if you know how to play the piano, teach her how to play the piano or make her feel like she's a little bit into your world, but also she needs you to be there in that world because she doesn't know it at all.
No, I think these are all really good points. I want to talk more about the cheating thing because I think that's a really good topic, but I want to have an expert on the show who like understands the science behind cheating. Maybe we'll have Helen Fisher. She would be fantastic to talk about it since she never got to it with her video. But I think that was a good a good amount of information. But overall, what we want you to take away from this chapter in the Man's Playbook is about increasing a woman's dopamine levels. And you can do that through creating mystery, curiosity, doing different and exciting things that will make her a little bit scared and feel strong feelings for you. And horny, exactly. And right after this, who do we have on our show?
We have Jonathan Daniel Brown coming on. He is a writer for Vice magazine, and he's an actor as well. You've seen him in what was the name of the movie again? Project X as one of the dweeby guys. So everyone out there who doesn't feel like they're too cool for school, you guys can really probably get some helpful information from him, and he will be with us next segment.
Oh my God, I had something really depressing happen today. I went to text you guys and my phone, it was not going through. And then I call and it's like, the ding ding, welcome to Verizon Wireless. And I'm like, oh shit. It's that moment you realize, oh yeah, haven't paid my bill because it was $220.
Yeah.
So here's a problem.
For one bill?
For one bill.
For one person.
Guys,
what
this
do
is
you
a problem.
do on your cell phone?
Honestly,
Why?
I don't know. And I think I think being ignorant and not knowing how I'm spending my minutes is like a serious problem. And it's also putting me in debt.
But what plan are you on?
I thought I was on unlimited, but apparently I'm not. Anyways, I need
a lot of money.
I know. And
It could be like 220,000. Honestly, because you hear those stories of those like ridiculous phone bills.
Yeah.
Like there was one, I don't know. There's been a bunch, but they are $50,000 because some kid didn't know that he couldn't text 50,000 times in one month.
Well, that's the whole point. That's why they're like, we'll
I
get
should
you.
know.
Right.
It's sneaky, exactly.
I'm just
I don't
over
know.
it.
But
So-
you're 30 and you should know. However, there are, like you have a lot, everyone's got a lot going on. And so if you don't know and then you get a bill smacked in your face like that, it's wrong.
Dude.
It's wrong on like every level. But the new service Ting.
Who's one of our sponsors now. They're fantastic.
Yeah, they're
I
really
just
good.
want to know how much I'm spending. Like, I just want to be able to see what it is in front of me, and like
No,
they
but
have an app which is cool, so you can at least check it out.
Yeah, well, because it was when we had our sponsor call. I'm not sure if you were on the call, but they were explaining to us how everything works, and like it's for people.
was there.
It's for people just like you who don't know how much they're spending, and they don't know how to track it. Like if they're close to going over their limit. With Ting, there's actually no limit whatsoever because you have your own. It's like pay as you go. It's you pay as you use stuff. So. You know what you're paying for. If you don't use texting, you don't get charged for texting. So I think it's pretty amazing. So honestly, you should even sign up for their services.
I know.
And you're like running up a crazy.
And contracts.
Way,
So trying to get out of your contract is such a pain with Ting. They don't even have contracts, so you can just get out whenever you want.
Right.
Start whenever you want.
which is awesome. So if anybody who is listening, as I said, they're one of our sponsors, but we actually love what it is that they're doing for mobile users.
I know.
Go to what's the link again?
AskWomen.ting.com.
Yeah,
And if you do go to that link, you will get $25 toward either a phone or toward your service fees.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you can buy phones on the site?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wait, let's say the link again.
AskWomen.ting.com.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's
Did
it.
I get that right, Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
It's really convenient. I mean, my dad uses another pay-as-you-go kind of phone because my dad is not he doesn't care. He's not texting. Like I'll send him a text and like he'll call me back. Like,
Right.
he doesn't.
Same my
he
dad.
doesn't use
I
text.
love that.
It's
The glory
adorbs.
days.
Yeah, but I'm like, Dad, you could just send the text. I'm not calling. I didn't call on purpose. Like just send me a text back. But it's great again for those reasons because if he was on like the family plan, like my mom, whatever. He would be wasting so much money.
Yeah, for
Tons.
sure.
Right,
And then-
because he doesn't use anything except he calls.
For sure. So askwomen.ting.com. You get $25 towards your first bill or towards a phone.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Ask Women podcast, a Podcast One presentation.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Ask Women podcast. We are here with Jonathan Daniel Brown, a wonderful actor and writer, I guess. I don't know if you actually... Do you say like writer too?
Yeah, I
say
do.
writer?
I write
Yeah.
for realsies.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you writing about?
Well, I'm working on a few things I can't really talk about yet, but in the meantime, I've
Get
started...
off our show if you can't talk about it then.
Top secret.
Just kidding.
But, yeah. In the meantime, I started contributing to Vice and just
awesome.
working on a few other things, and acting's fun as well. But,
Yeah. So Jonathan, I know Jonathan from like a few years ago when doing stand-up, and Jonathan would be kind of hanging around, And were you doing stand-up at the time?
I was. I was doing stand-up at the time, and I often, lately at least, I've been thinking about trying it again. I don't know.
Don't. It's not worth it. If you're already like doing movies and shit, there's literally no reason.
I've done a couple movies, a few movies. It doesn't mean doing movies doesn't always. Doing movies sounds way cooler than doing
of course.
I'm just doing movies.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about Project X for a second, because I remember that when I first watched the trailer for that, I got a boner. And
it was you, Jonathan.
And
it's kinky.
It made me.
He always gets boners, so don't worry about it.
Anybody who sits in that chair, it turns
it's weird. Every time I have a guest on, though, gets a boner.
It's new mystery.
It made me
Dopamine.
it falsely sold me on this imaginary dream of what I dreamt a high school party should always be, or was just the one I never got to but always wanted to go to.
Yeah, it totally
Falsely,
was.
I felt like it delivered.
I mostly read comic books alone in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. The preview it kind of delivered, but it was like, it was not like that could never really happen in real life. So like for me, like it gave me this
But there's the
false
part
hope
in your
that
brain that it could. Yeah.
exactly.
I felt
So
the
there's
same
this
way,
false-
actually.
I was like, there's this false hope that this could really happen and these young boobies, and it's so cool. But,
No, I mean,
Like, wah.
you know, I'm very grateful for Project X. I mean, it opened a lot of doors. A lot of people really seem to dig it. A lot of people, to this day, think it's real, which is a little confusing because, I mean, I guess I've been in other stuff since then.
But the way they shot it, though, had that, it did feel
Like a
kind of
gritty-
like you're
kind of
walking
real.
this party. Were you guys,
kind of
did you
gritty
have
quality.
was it one big party? Were you hitting on these
I mean,
girls?
there were like 25 days of night shoots, and so it was pretty. Yeah, it was like a month and a half straight of
Were you
7
able to,
p.m.
like-
to 7 a.m. and it was pretty
Exhausting.
intense stuff.
Yeah.
I had a really
Did
good
you meet a
time.
lot of women there?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, there's wherever there's people.
Yeah, were there people hooking up? Because you
definitely.
You
Oh,
party
for
with someone
sure.
for a month.
Definitely. I mean, not a
showmance?
Well, a lot of the there were 300 extras, so they were always.
And they're all over the talent, right?
I mean, not us specifically, but just everybody in general was kind of all over everybody.
Really?
Because that was encouraged, like, while you were shooting, like, just
I mean,
to do
I don't
that?
think it was encouraged. I think it was just
Like you
inevitable.
had better hook up. Yeah, it's a ton of young people together. Why wouldn't you?
Right, and
Especially extras are so desperate. Am I right?
Am I right? I mean,
everybody's desperate.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, I wanted to talk about one of the articles that you wrote for Vice. Kristen had sent it out to us. It was about, why women have rejected you in the past. You actually, I would love to hear you explain.
Sure. Okay. So
what it is.
I came up with the idea like a couple months ago, and I thought it would be like a fun idea for a web series where like I would basically film interviews with girls I had asked out who said no. But then I realized that kind of like there would be comedy in the awkwardness of it, but it would also get away from the actual point of what I was trying to do.
right.
So
Well, what were you trying to do?
well, I just actually like sort of get into the mind of nobody ever. It's not socially acceptable to obviously bother somebody about why they harassed you. I mean, obviously,
Or why they
you
said
know,
Or why
no.
they said no.
yeah, or why they said no. I mean, women don't owe men shit for that. They don't owe an explanation. So when I, put out, a couple, I probably sent out like 10 messages to various people I'd asked out, and 5 got back, and all of them were in some facet of entertainment, which makes sense. Because all of, I feel like
What
all,
did you ask
all the normal
specifically?
ones were like, fuck no, don't put my picture on a website.
Right. What were you asking them specifically?
Well, I think like it's crazy. Each interview was about an hour. I had 5. 4 ended up making the cut. The 5th one was really funny also, but it was just that the sound wasn't good, so it was tough to transcribe. And we had already had so much content as it was that, I mean, I had to take basically 50 pages and turn it into, like, with my editor, like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So what did you find? What were they saying?
Well, a big thing about the article that I noticed, like when reading it all together at once, was basically insecurity is universal. People are just humans. I think one thing I've always done wrong is I've looked at women kind of like these aliens I want to have sex with, you know?
Right.
Like these like mutant creatures that speak a different language, and it's like
I say unicorns with breasts.
Yeah,
That's what I call them.
Yeah.
Have you seen a vagina? It's not from this planet.
I don't know, man. Dicks are weird too.
Yeah, they're all kind of weird.
Thank you.
No, but it's
Thank
true.
you.
But that's an interesting point. You said you looked at them like they're aliens from
Well,
another.
I'd say like
On a pedestal, kind of like you
Well,
just
but more than like a pedestal, almost like just
Foreign.
foreign. Yeah, like the alien, distant,
unknown.
The idea that like oh shit, you just talk to them like they're people, like human beings with thoughts and
Right.
feelings, just like dudes. No shit. I mean,
Right.
it seems
It's
so
groundbreaking,
obvious,
but it is groundbreaking when you
but-
realize that.
Yeah, but it definitely is a eureka moment I had a couple years ago. I was like, oh, whoa, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But where do you think you got this idea that they weren't humans? Like, where do you think that came from?
I just think kids growing up, basically, guys guys are like basically taught to be a certain way growing up when it comes to dating. It's like encouraged to be either, well, a lot of people just say be yourself, but I don't think be yourself is a good idea, because if you be yourself, then you're not going to improve yourself. You're just going to smell like shit, and you're going to
Play video games all
Doritos.
day.
Video games are a lot of fun, so.
I get it.
But yeah, I try to get all my shit done first.
So what was the most surprising thing you heard, and what was the most not surprising thing?
Well, these women, explain this to me. So you were.
Hey, did I just ask a question?
Well, no,
Yeah, but we're
no.
trying to understand like what exactly the
I'm
article's
trying to
about
understand
first.
the context. Like these women, did they know you were?
Yeah,
you,
no, I wasn't.
You hit on them, right? First.
Yes. Well, okay.
they said no.
And they said no, and then you sat them down and asked, "Why did you say no to me?"
Yes.
Okay, so they were at
Okay.
various points in my lives. One girl was a girl I asked out in 7th grade. The other 3 were in the past 4 years.
Oh wow! So over a period of time.
Yeah, and the most recent one, I did the interview about a half an hour after she turned me down, and
You're like, no,
Open
do you want to
wound.
come back to my house and just do an interview?
Yeah.
Actually, are you free in the next hour?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
She
pretty
just
much.
she just told you she wasn't
She
free,
was-
and then you're like, oh, I'm doing an interview for Vice. She's like, oh
Sure,
yeah,
exactly.
actually.
I'm totally free.
She was. It was different kinds of rejections too. They weren't just girls I asked out. They were just girls that turned me down in general. Like one girl I was making out with, and she's like, "No, we got to stop. We should just be friends." And so that was the one. I
Make out?
It happens.
Totally.
Totally happens.
Yeah.
One was just like some girl that I hung out with in 7th grade and spent most of my time talking to on AOL Instant Messenger. And we pretended to be ducks.
What was your screen name?
Let's see. I've had so many AOL Instant Messenger screen names.
You're like, I've had a lot of aliases.
I really have. I've made like so many, and I I always tried to be edgy, and I was just had the shittiest screen names.
Right.
Oh my god! I still have my old one. So
I have my last one from when I was 14, and that was Jew conspiracies, because I thought I was being like
You wanted to be edgy, but you were being funny.
Yeah,
Unintentionally.
self-hating.
All right, so the most recent girl who was, after she rejects you 30 minutes later, you interview her. How did that go down? Did you approach her? What was your approach? What did you say to her? I want to know what you're doing.
I was
and if
driving
it-
her home.
Okay, you're driving her home. So you knew her then?
Hmm. Yeah, and I took out my phone and I said, "Hey, so I'm doing this piece where I'm talking to girls who have turned me down to figure out exactly what's wrong with me," and that's kind of like a
That's an interesting way to phrase it.
well,
What's
but I did
wrong
that on
with
purpose,
me?
though. I
Yeah.
did that on purpose because in the end, what I was trying to get the most brutal, honest answers as possible, and I think I did. I mean, to the point where I'm still friends with these people, and they're not going to be like, "You're fucking hideous," or you need to lose 60 pounds, or you're a midget.
You need to do 2 more movies.
You need to
or-
do. Well, I don't think any of them are that
shallow.
I think they're nice people.
Yeah.
I don't think most people. I think most people are shallow to a degree. I think that there's sort of this idea that for some reason dudes think that they can just not take care of themselves at all and still date the Sports Illustrated model whatever, and I think that's just because of Adam Sandler movies, probably.
Or because
Right.
of being
I
in
agree.
10th grade. That worked in 10th grade. It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd like to think my personality can take me, so far, but I mean, that's why I go to the gym and shit. That's why I lost a bunch of weight, because I feel like I can't just coast on that. I can't just coast on how charming I am.
Well, you can with us.
So what?
Yeah,
so
you
what did
can.
this woman say to you? So what? So because when did you ask her out, or when did you?
This was like all throughout. This was through the past 4 years.
Well, no, but the interviews happened over the past like 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, but no, because you said the last woman was a half an hour after she had rejected you. So
That- yeah.
where was the rejection?
On my couch.
Oh, so you tried to make out with her?
No, we made out.
So okay,
That was
so
halfway.
she's
That
the
one.
one. So that's the one who said, "Okay, we
Yeah,
should
that
just be
was
friends."
the latest one.
Were you guys drunk? Did you go
No.
and kiss her? Like, how did this all go down?
We were just chilling out and
Like, hey, let's make out.
pretty.
Okay.
I think I probably said it out loud. I mean, sometimes I say, "Hey, let's make out."
Yeah.
No, I don't. I wish.
So-
I wish you could get away with that. It'd be so
Yeah.
much easier if you could because I'm just the worst at nonverbal communication. Like sometimes I can't read what people are saying with their shoulders. Like I
Right.
want to like.
That's
I
a
wish
common
I could
dude
use
thing.
language. Yeah, well, we have no subtlety. We need to have that shit smashed over our head. That's why if I get a number from a girl and then she doesn't, text back or call back, I feel like an asshole when really it's like it's not my fault, but you probably should have just said, hey, no thanks. But I also understand from their point of view, too, like how weird it must feel to, like they don't want to hurt someone's feelings or I don't know, like they might think that guy could turn into a psycho or...
Yeah, well, we had my intern. She told me a story that one girl had given out her phone number to a guy, and this is like people in their 20s, and then did she?
They were- no, they
she
were-
said no. She said
Yeah.
no, and he punched her in the face.
Jesus
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
Christ.
punched her in the
Full
face.
blown, like,
yeah, punched her in the face.
That's
Baby.
crazy. Did he
Yeah.
get arrested and everything?
I think that's what ended
Yeah.
up after, but she was in the hospital. But basically, he's saying you've been leading me on the entire night, and you're not giving me your phone number, and punched her in the face.
Hey, man.
That's
Sean-
why, and
Sean-
I've said that from the beginning.
I got flipped
will,
off.
I will always give out my number because it makes me nervous at how they'll react if I don't.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
consider getting Google Voice or something like that.
Right. I know. No, I have like.
We'll send
I-
them to the podcast line.
But,
Yeah.
but wait, you have a boyfriend, don't you?
yeah, but I mean, I can't really use that on guys. It makes me
You can't say
uncomfortable.
I have a boyfriend. I'm sorry.
Well, what happens is if like Haley, for example, has said she just is good at having conversations with guys, and she doesn't even realize she's flirting.
Haley's talked the least though.
No, she hasn't. She's like good.
I'm chilling.
But
I'm taking an Instagram video, yo.
So if I'm having a conversation with a guy because I'm just having a conversation, and then all of a sudden it dawns on me that this guy
Wants
might
more.
be interested in me.
Right.
Then when he asked me for my number, I'm scared that I already let him on and I didn't even realize I did. So I don't want to throw in I have a boyfriend there because I'm like, oh shoot, I should have then played it differently from the beginning. Not that I was like flirting like a hoe bag, but I think I just was talking and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden before I
You
know
had
it, I'm
his
in.
hog in your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
No,
like, I'm
so-
just talking, and suddenly he's throwing himself at me.
Right.
Well, what do you do? And how are you usually? So you think it's too late? Usually by the time you figure that out.
Yeah, because all of a sudden it's too awkward to throw it in there. Like it's like I have
It's too
always,
late.
Yeah.
but I've always admired women who can be like in a deep conversation with a guy and all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, my boyfriend and I go to that place all the time. I can't throw it in like that. It's like I can't bring it
prefer-
out.
have
I mean,
a soul?
I prefer that though because it sucks for like a second, and then you're like, oh,
Right, but it's
well
that
now
second.
now I'm not going to have to deal with any follow up. I'm not going
Right.
to be
But it's
curious
like-
why I didn't get a call back or
Yeah, it's like
what I
a
did.
Band-Aid. You got to
Right.
take it right off.
Yeah.
But I'm always like dreading it, and then I just don't. So
Then it's like,
So did you
you're
get text
screwed if
messages
you
all the
call
time
and-
though from
no,
tons and
I mean
tons
it
of dudes?
doesn't. No, it doesn't happen often. But you know. Oh yeah, I mean a little bit occasionally. I'm like,
well,
okay.
what
And then
do
you just
usually
avoid them.
do? You
Yeah,
just
and then
You
I
avoid it?
avoid them.
I avoid it.
And then you're a crappy person. It
yeah.
sucks.
And then the guy doesn't know what the hell happened, which
Right.
is why you're writing this, because you're like, what went wrong? It was great. We were talking.
Because in the moment, for me, it's the easiest, and then I think, "Oh shit!" Now I know it's going to come.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it just was easier for me to just kind of pretend it didn't exist.
Well, I just think it's just like that. There's such like a there's so much bullshit involved in flirting and dating nowadays. It's like nobody's really forthright with each other anymore.
Right.
There's so much dancing around.
Yeah.
Any actual I mean I don't know, like at a bar a few days ago I was talking to this girl I thought was very nice, and like there was a lot of flirting and then there was a lot of like shoulder touching where like
That's great.
That's a
put
good
each
sign.
other's-
We've always said that.
I thought so too, but then I got her number and I woke up the next morning and I saw I had 2 missed calls at 3 in the morning. I was like, whoa, that's kind of amazing. I sent a text. I said, hey, sorry I missed your call last night. I was asleep. And she
Wait,
wrote,
did you write into our podcast? I swear that's the
I've never-
exact
no,
question
no,
that
no.
we
Keep
have
going.
at
So
3
she-
a.m.
She
He's
called
at
you
3
at
a.m.
3 in the
too.
morning.
And she
keep
said, yeah, I'm pretty hungover. I'm just going to stay in with the boy today. And I was like,
Wait, what?
All
You
right.
want to know why she called you at 3 in the morning?
I want to know why she called me at 3 in the morning. I wonder why she was. Well, I know,
Yeah,
but
she wants your
you know
penis.
what? When
But
a
no,
woman's
because then she, like, was
DTF,
super-
you gotta take it home and bust it down.
No, Mo.
But
being serious.
well, what I'm trying to figure out though is
Down
why is it the next day it's completely cold?
Because that's when
she gets
that's
sober.
when
You have a window of opportunity.
That's when her
Oh, I see.
conscience kicks
Yeah.
in, first of all, and then that's like when she's sober too.
That's bullshit, though. Texting you at 3 a.m. and then, like, the next day, oh, sorry, just hanging out with my boyfriend.
Yeah, well,
like,
but look,
what?
you missed out on your window. There's a window to bang for some women. Some women are like, I'm in
Is
a
that
fight.
what you wanted, though?
No, she could have been, I'm in a fight with my boyfriend, or he's an asshole, I'm going to go fuck some guy tonight, and it's
Wow.
going to be awesome.
Yeah, maybe.
And you are that guy, and she's trying to give you these signs of...
Take it as a compliment. I mean,
yeah,
obviously.
Take it as
Yeah,
you do.
no, I'm flattered.
But it could have been that she wanted sex, or she maybe wanted to continue the evening. Maybe she was in a fight with her boyfriend and just wanted to continue on an adventure with somebody who may be safe. I don't know.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, there's only two things going on at 3 a.m. Waffles and banging.
Waffles?
I like waffles.
Sorry, we
Can I
Please.
come over at 3
So-
a.m. for waffles, Mo?
What did you?
If
What
you're
did?
gonna
What
give
was,
it up.
What was
No?
your biggest takeaway from writing the article? Do you feel differently now? Are you
Kinda.
more enlightened?
Yeah,
or
so what
What
did
can our
Do you have
boys
more
learn?
confidence?
The weird thing is I feel like from the article, if I learned anything, it's that I don't know, just have to make my intentions clearer faster.
That's so great that you said that,
talk
because
about that.
last week for last week's episode, that was the entire topic of the beginning, was stating your intentions and how important that is.
Yeah, and then it's like you're both aware of what's going on, and hopefully you won't end up, going home like, oh, how do I
Yeah.
do this? You
So
know?
wait, what did the girls say to you? So they said, "I didn't know you wanted to go on a date with me."
Well, one didn't. One didn't. Although I thought it was totally obvious, but she had no clue. One I was like friends with for a while, and I like kind of had like that crush thing that kind of went spiraled, and then like we both decided it was not a good idea. One was that girl I mentioned previously, where she was like, "No, we should just be friends." After we were hooking up a bit, and then then the next was just a straight up no.
Have you asked these girls out right off the bat, like, hey, I'd like to take you out, not I want your number, or hey, look.
Well,
what's your
okay.
number?
Here's one thing I've figured out. If you text or call a girl and you're like, "Hey, let's go out sometime," and she's like, "We should get a group together."
Yeah, that's an indicator.
Abort.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like, oh, you mean you want to hang out with other people? So I like.
So we're not alone.
So we're not alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as anybody says, "Yeah, let's get a group together and go out," or "Hey, let's get a bunch of people," it's like, well, I don't know your friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
So these girls. So I know that you said you learned to be more clear with your intentions, which is an amazing lesson that you learned, and that people who are listening to this should learn. But what did they say to you about why they didn't see it going to that other, like why that wasn't their intention?
They talked a lot. I mean, they talked a lot about height, which was kind of a weird thing for me. I'm 5'6", and which is short as shit. But I never understood why height was such a big deal to
Oh
women.
man, I didn't realize that until a year ago. That's a really big deal to women. It's
Well,
fucked up.
if you're
A
like
lot.
tall, if I don't think if you're like the same height, that's fine. But if you're super tall, like I'm 5'10", it would be physically weird for us to like.
I dated a girl who was 6'2" for a bit. I didn't
No.
get
Was
it.
it weird physically when she like was leaning down to kiss you?
No. I don't
Okay,
give a
well
shit.
that's cool. If you're cool with it and she's cool with it, then I think it's fine.
Until I started hanging out with my buddy who's 6'8", and we'd go to bars, and I'd see how much attention. He wasn't a great looking guy; he was decent looking, but he was always the tallest guy in the bar.
When I
and
go to
women are
yeah.
attracted to that.
When I go to a bar, I feel like I don't really go to bars as much. Well, I don't really drink a lot. I prefer weed. And
I can tell.
what do you mean by that?
I mean, amen. I mean, I support that. I'm saying we're friends. I get that.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
saying you should have brought some in studio.
Nah, too much to do today. Next time. But when I go to a bar, I feel like I'm in a human corn maze. It's like there's all these people,
Yeah.
and I'm sort of sliding around them, and the bar is always up to my neck. So I stand up at the bar, and I feel like I'm just like this disembodied head from Futurama or something.
That's awesome.
Do you use that in your approaches, like to make
You
it,
should.
to make
That's
it,
funny.
Yeah, because that's funny. If you like just like lean your head on the bar and be like, "Hey," like
My new thing is I dress up as the Penguin,
That's funny. Oh God, I had this
I
one
have a
client
cane.
who, like, everybody called him a leprechaun. So he started like really owning this leprechaun
Oh, my God.
character,
Oh,
and
no.
he would always dress up as a leprechaun, even not on Halloween. It was just horrible.
Wait, I think I've seen him.
No, really?
Is he in California?
Yeah, he is.
sounds
He's in
like-
LA.
Oh my God, I think I've seen him.
You've seen the leprechaun?
He's a little man.
He's
who
a
wears,
little man.
Not a midget.
No, he doesn't like wear it every day.
But he wears like a leprechaun suit around.
Well, I think a couple of times
Sorry.
he has, but
Anyways.
yeah, I, mean, I don't know. We would have
Sorry,
to find out
guys.
who it is. But yeah,
He's the one in Mobile, Alabama.
so you found that height is important to women.
Well, not like all women, but I noticed that there's still the dynamic, which is, I guess, sort of old school. You'd think that it wouldn't matter as much, but it's this old school dynamic that, like, taller men are sort of more alpha and more controlling of a situation. I think.
But that's an interesting statement that you just made, because then it's not about the height; it's about the alpha and controlling a situation.
But I think height adds value.
For sure.
I think it does.
It can.
I think
a lot of guys
primal.
can buy
It's primal.
that value for a short period of time by having that height. It's like their foot in the door. This is
I agree
what
with
I
this.
think. Like, as a woman, I know that in my mind, if somebody said, "Do you want to date a guy who's 5'2" and does this, this, and this?" and like, I'm like, no, I don't want to date a guy who's 5'2", but tell me more about who he is and let me meet him and see that he is a leader and he is more alpha. I may go in a different direction. I may actually be attracted to him.
And also, you are younger, so you're dealing with women.
Well, that's
who,
another thing.
who are.
I'm 24. I like women who are a few years older than me. Most women I know prefer men that are older than them. I don't really like girls that are younger than me that much.
I think you'll start to find as women get older, they start to be a little bit
open-minded.
Yeah,
Their
and they start
standards-
to look for different things.
That's
Because
one thing
they're-
I keep hearing a lot. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
man,
that's
you're going to do
true.
so much better when you're 30. But when I was a teenager, everyone was like, you're going to do so much better in your 20s. So,
Well, that there's something to be said for that, because you can always look forward to something. Like, I'm going to wear out in 2 years
why do you say that?
because I'm getting crow's feet.
Because it's Hollywood.
It's Hollywood.
and we're women.
I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. Basically, like, women start to realize that all the tall guys they dated when they were 21 to 25 were, not all of them, but, you know, in certain situations, they were dicks, or they didn't live up to their expectations. And all of a sudden they have to take a step back and say, wait a second, I need to change around my priorities.
That
I'm
made
looking
me-
for
yeah.
this guy that is into comic books because I am too.
That
or,
made
you know.
me like bitter as a kid. I remember, like, I was a total bitter nerd about that because I was like, I don't want to be like the oh wait. Now that we've been wrong this whole time, we'll go to you.
But that's the beauty. But that's the beauty about getting older, and that's why, I mean, people in high school who are doing amazing in high school, I have zero appreciation for, or like want to be like them, because it's over after that. It's over. Like,
Yeah.
take Mo for example. He was super cool in high school.
Cool.
Now,
Now look at him.
downhill.
now look at him.
There's a rap line that
But
goes,
you have-
"Damn, homie, in high school you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you?"
Well, exactly.
true.
So it's
You
like
wrote that yourself?
you
No,
win.
it was,
But the
from a rap
person who
song.
gets better with age,
cool.
the person who gets better with age wins. It sucks to go through all that crap, but it creates character and it gives you something to look forward to.
I always say marry the nerds because I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that are interesting and that have a lot to say and they're kicking ass.
Ashton Kutcher on the Teen Choice Awards, he gave a great speech last night. He was on some Steve Jobs.
Why are you watching the
kick.
Teen Choice Awards?
I was watching it last night, but he gave
Whatever.
some Steve Jobs kicks. Like, he was on a Steve Jobs kick, but he said, talking about the three things he learned in life, and one of them was sexy, and his man sexy, and his definition of man sexy was being really, really smart. Because smart is sexy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Well,
this is
yeah.
coming from Ashton Kutcher, who is
Yeah.
like a drop dead hottie, and it's
It
so obnoxious
was a
that you just
Calvin
threw
Klein man
Ashton
model.
Kutcher into this
It is
conversation.
obnoxious to hear him say that. Like, it's all about being smart, guys. Like, oh, fuck you and
Yeah.
your jawline.
Yeah, okay,
You've been
'cause
modeling since you were 2.
He would be nowhere
You know?
if he was just smart.
Anyways.
I mean, for
True.
him,
Smart is
you know.
sexy.
Well, I want to answer some questions because we have a segment, as I said
Yes.
to you before, called Analyze This. So guys have sent us in questions, and I would love if you would participate and answer questions with us.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So here
right.
is a question from Dylan. Thanks for the podcast. I need your help. I'm in a relationship going on 2 years. I think she's the one. We're perfect for each other. I love her and her boys, and she's crazy about me and my daughters. It's damn near perfect. Here's the problem. I'm 33. I got married when I was 20 and divorced after I found out she was cheating 10 years into it. Whoa. After a year and 4 flings later, I met my current girlfriend. Here's the problem. I never really dated around, and I feel like I've missed out on a lot of experiences. I want to marry my girl, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm missing out. Having not really dated around much, am I missing out?
Dating sucks.
I agree, man.
You're not missing out.
You found the one. It's perfect. Your only thing that's stopping you is you right now. Like you know what? Like once you find that thing and it works, trust it.
Well, I'll go out with them. We can go to bars and not get in, and then if we don't get into those, we can go to another bar and we can strike out with a few girls, but then we can find probably in the end like maybe we'll get. I don't know.
End up at Popeyes.
I guess like he said he had 4 flings, right?
Four
He was
flings.
with 4 women in between this new girl. So that I feel like is
That's
experience.
a decent amount of time.
Look,
but like, what is the right amount in between? Like, how many
here's-
experiences should you have in your
Here's
life?
the thing. That the grass is always going to be greener on the other side. And for men, this is our curse, and it's what we have to bear the rest of our lives. Because
And for women too.
For women too, but men who have that testosterone and that like I want to spread my seed, primal being feeling going on. Like if you don't get it in. Or I call it getting it in, right? So for me, I
love how he comes out with all his terms.
I had my girl, and I broke up with her because I needed to get it in. I needed to get my fill in. And after I got my fill in, I realized that all girls are really the same, and some of them you just want to shut up and put the pillow over their face.
Wow.
And then you realize like how much you miss your girl so much. That's what keeps me strong in my relationship now is because I've gone through the 30, 40, 50 women that made me want to shoot myself in the head to really realize how
But you
great
got to
I
go
have
through
it.
those 30, 40, 50 women.
Exactly.
He's saying he hasn't. The truth...
Four's a
Four's nothing to like sneeze at.
Yeah.
No, I feel like 4 flings, which is...
plus a divorce.
Right.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
dude's
What a
lived a lot.
relationship.
How old is this guy?
33.
And how old is his a new girlfriend?
That he didn't say.
They both
but
have
he got
kids.
married. He got married when he was
Experiences.
20, and they both have kids.
I feel like once you have kids, you don't get to like.
Be picky.
No, you get to be picky, but I don't
Show's
think you
over.
have to be like, I'm going to spend a few years playing the field. You don't like get to. I don't feel like you get to have like.
But
Yeah, and
I
If,
agree.
Like, I'd be weirded out if I wasn't raised by single parents, but I'd be weirded out if like dad had a different woman over every week or mom had
Right,
like, dudes
that's-
over all the time.
It's just what I was gonna say. Like, do you want to kind of set that example? I think he
But the
I like
example
exactly
of what? It's the way that you position it.
that
The
there's a lot
example-
of women coming through, and mommy's gone, and like look what I get to do now that your boring old ma's gone.
Is that... Well, let's
That's
say
how it would
let's
come
say-
across to me as a kid.
See,
But let's say he switched it around and he was like, "Yeah, I'm having a great time." Maybe he doesn't even show
Maybe
you
he
that he's
gave the
going out
kids-
with all these women, but he's going on dates and he's like really happy when he sees you because he's having lots of sex with different women.
Look, I don't think he should be changing what he's doing just to like what his kids might think, but it depends on where he's at. And I honestly think if she has kids and he has kids and they work together as one family, like how rare is that?
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough
honestly,
to find.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think-
this is like a Brady Bunch
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
Go with it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like
All right.
it's really hard to find
Listen,
chemistry and partnership with somebody.
Go to the
So-
strip club, throw some money at some women,
Don't
and
go
then
to the strip
realize
Shower.
like how disgusting you feel afterwards.
Strip
Yeah.
clubs are
And then
bummers.
go home to your girl, and you're gonna.
I've been mugged at 2 of them.
What?
By the strippers.
Kind of.
Oh my god.
Kind of.
One was in Vegas, and it was like I was with a group of friends, and it was such a blackout. I think I like passed out in the middle of a lap dance, and then just kept charging
Yeah.
for songs over and over again while I was just sleeping in there. And I didn't even want a lap dance. It was like
That's
one of those you
horrible.
go do that. And the other time I was I was always drunk. That's why I don't drink because I end up in a strip club.
There you go.
And
The other time, I just these 2 huge dudes just pulled me out of this booth, and they're like, "All right," and they just dragged me to the ATM and like made me take out a bunch of fucking money.
It's
Holy
like
shit.
like legalized robbery.
Kind of. I mean, because they can
Creepy.
say whatever. I mean, and they, really, once you're in like any of those dances, they can charge you whatever they
well,
want.
that's also why you don't
Right.
show up blackout hammered to strip clubs because you end up falling asleep for 5 lap dances.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Well, anyway, so for this guy who is writing in, so Dylan, I think you have a great relationship. It sounds really strong and wonderful. Maybe look at ways to spice up your relationship with this woman so that it can feel
Have you guys
like you're
considered
getting
going to church together?
Yeah, exactly. Going to church, that would be the magic key. No, but like doing things that maybe aren't like this episode's about dopamine, right? Yeah. So start increasing your dopamine levels. And it is hard with kids, but really put in the effort to maybe do something at least once a week that's a little bit adventurous. And I feel like
we answered his question. We're good.
Oh, we did? Oh, we're done.
It's been answered. Let's move on.
All right, good call, Haley. I know, I'm a rambler. Okay. So, this is from Jonathan. I seem to be struggling with getting a girlfriend. I'm outgoing, funny, nice, but I still seem to be put in the dreaded friend zone. I don't know if I am not touching enough, or if I'm saying the wrong things, or if they are just not into me. So, so the question that he has basically is, oh no, screw up. Sorry, I didn't edit this one down.
It's a long one.
Yeah, it was really long.
Does he have any context?
He said, okay, or they're just. So, what are they doing? What am I doing wrong? Is the question.
But he didn't. But did he give any context as to like where he usually meets?
Yeah, so I usually go out and start a conversation with the ladies. I do admit I tend to be the type of guy who asks questions about the woman's life most of the time. Other times I banter and come up with funny jokes. Also, I seem to pique their interest because their body and feet are facing me, in some cases touching me, but for some reason it seems to die out. What am I doing wrong? Is asking about a woman's life a bad thing? If so, why? And what can I do to make things more interesting?
Well, it sounds like he's spending way too much time talking to them, first of all, and that's why he's becoming the friend, because it's friend zone talk. And you need to man up and stop being the friend. You need to ask a woman out like a fucking
That's the difference.
Man.
I don't know if I believe
like
in the friend zone.
I don't. I definitely don't believe in the friend zone.
You let the girl know right off the top, I'm into you. I want to take you out.
I don't disagree with you on that.
I'm looking for a friend. Oh, I'm not that friend. I'm looking to bang, or I'm looking for a relationship, so I can't be your friend. I have enough friends. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And then you move on. The more you shut off the girls who put you in the friend zone, the more you get them out of your life, period.
Well, you know what I say about the friend zone. I said the only person who can put you in the friend zone is you. It's not a woman putting you into the friend zone. And like what you were just saying, you don't agree with it. Maybe you agree with me on this, but I believe it's actually called the fake boyfriend zone. It's not the friend zone. Because if you were to act like you do with your friends, with this girl, she would actually be attracted to you. Because you'd be totally yourself, super comfortable, challenging her, teasing her, farting in front of her, doing all that normal stuff that you do, letting your real personality out.
I think there's a lot of guys that think that if they become best friends with a girl who isn't interested in them...
It's like the backdoor way in.
It's true. Like a secret way to become,
I call that nice guy manipulation.
You will always be in the friend zone, too, because she's always going to look at you like that, no matter what.
Yep.
So, honestly, like, you have to make a decision. Like Mo said, like, you have to take her out and take that initiative. And if you're not going to do that, then you know what? Like,
well, it all comes back
to be passive.
It all comes back to stating your intentions, really.
And not just to the woman, but to yourself. Yeah. You state the intention to yourself. I don't hang out with a girl unless it's romantically from now on.
Yeah.
That's
well,
it.
What do you have to say about this?
No, I mean, I think making your intentions clear immediately is pretty important, and I think, physical contact, all the thing you described. Does he escalate at all? Does he ask for a number?
That was going to be my comment.
Does he make any kind of, like, does he indicate his interest? Does he...
Well, it doesn't sound like... Well, it sounds like, okay, he asks a couple of questions, and he asks about the woman's life, and then they have some funny jokes and banter. What I'm picturing, because I run a lot of boot camps, okay? So this
What kind of boot camps?
So I'm a wing girl. So I own the wing girl method, and I coach men on how to understand women so they can attract, date, seduce, and be with the women they want.
No shit.
Listen to that.
Yeah. Wow. So I was in London. And we were on this boot camp. We had like 10 guys with us. And this one guy, he would have the same issue every single time. He would go up to a girl. He would start engaging conversation. He was great and funny, but then he would stick around.
Yeah.
When there was a lull, he would just stick around.
Yeah.
Like so afraid to lose that attraction.
Like Seinfeld, go out on top.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of walking away. And I would watch him just sit there twiddling his thumbs thinking, what do I bring up next? What do I bring up next? And then go into a new conversation.
That's admittedly a problem of mine sometimes because I don't really know where to end. So I'll keep going until I try to find like a good place to end. But then it's like by then it's been like, all right, you've been here 10 minutes too long.
That's what I do with like eating. I'm like, I need a good last bite, and then I can't get that exact good last bite, so I just eat the rest of it, and then I'm totally uncomfortable.
It's like heroin, you know?
Right, exactly.
Just like heroin.
You're chasing the Big Mac.
So now that you are like separate from interacting and engaging with girls, if you were to think up a great segue to leave right now on your own, what would it be?
Leaving, you mean
the conversation, like some way to stop the conversation when it's at like a high point.
I mean, I guess wouldn't that just be to just ask for a number or something, and then just like, all right, thanks for the number, bye. I mean, if
you could, but listen, like I know I don't like it when that's the end of a conversation. Like if you want to ask for the phone number and you do, you can work that into the beginning part of the conversation where you mean
how soon would you even?
You can ask right away. You can start talking, and if you're like, oh my god, you like Chinese food? There's this great Chinese food place around the corner from my house. What's your phone number? I want to take you there. And you take the phone number, and you're still talking about it. You're talking about the Chinese food. They have great, like, Szechuan, whatever you want to list out that you really like eating there. You put the number back in, and then you continue talking so that it's not like this big moment of asking for the number. Yeah. Takes the pressure off you and takes the pressure
Makes it more casual.
Makes it much more casual.
Well, I mean, yeah, usually if I get turned down, I guess it's the same thing, but in reverse in a way. I usually don't go, okay, bye, and then just walk away.
Right.
So I usually like try to like figure out a way to wrap things up.
So maybe give yourself a 3-minute rule, just for you. Give yourself a 3-minute rule. I'm going to talk to a woman for 3 minutes, and as it's getting up to 2:50, I'm going to say, "Oh, you know what? I got to go, but I'll see you around. My friends are over," or something like that. It can be instant. My husband makes fun of me on the phone all the time because when I am like over it, I don't want it to go into a lull of like, "Oh, so what do you like?" I hate that type of conversation, and I'll just break off immediately, and he'll just be like, "Oh my god, you were the worst at getting off the phone." But at the same time, I believe I'm making these people want more on the other end, and that feels good to me, and I got off when I wanted to, and I didn't have to get into the boring part of the conversation.
Yeah, and you could even set your alarm for 3 minutes, so you could have a big old tune go off.
Yeah, and you can look at your phone.
You're like,
look at your phone and be like, "Shit, I gotta go. What's your phone number? I want to continue talking to you, but I have to go." If you want to do it that way, so that you are in full control, and like as we talk about all the time, it makes you more appealing that you are okay with walking away.
Yes,
it's super sexy.
Okay. Like we've said over and over on the show, like and we don't totally recommend it, but walking up to a woman and basically just saying like, "I want to sleep with you," and then walking away. It's not that you should do that, but there's that, oh my god. And he's gone now. And the woman feels so curious. Why did he not need to stay and talk to me? And it creates just a mystique for the
dopamine,
man.
Which therefore triggers dopamine. Which
we were talking all about dopamine at the beginning part of the show.
Can you take some ecstasy? Or?
You don't need to, because I'll recap for you. But I was watching this TED Talk where this woman named Helen Fisher was talking about how mystery can create dopamine. So that if you are mysterious, you build curiosity, you do something exciting on a date, for example, that has some mystery in place, you can actually increase dopamine in the person that you are going on the date with.
Wow.
Okay, let's get to the next question. I met this girl at Jet City Improv. Ooh, okay, where I volunteer at, and she's a volunteer as well.
Well, way to go, because now, if I don't know if either of them, if the girl or anyone at Jet City listens to this, but
well, let's hope they all do, all of them. So now
What's Jet
that's
City?
why he didn't sign his name. So he's totally busted now.
It's probably like 3 people. That's the thing.
Oh no, is it a place or
I don't know. Jet City Improv.
Okay, go.
I don't know. We're doing a lot of promos for it. We talk very little and stuff. Then before I leave, I go home. I ask for her number. Hey, he's saying her name. Hey, blah, blah, blah. What's your number? And then she says, I don't know. I just met you. Then I was like, oh, okay. I am leaving, but it was nice to meet you. What does it mean when a girl is not sure about giving you her phone number and just met you, or what could have went wrong? Okay, this is not very good English, but overall he's saying didn't talk to a girl, went up to her and said, hey, what's your number? So no
they
connection.
both work in the same place?
It's like she volunteers as well, but we talk very little and stuff, so they don't know anything about each other.
You gotta tee it up, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah. Like, what would you do if another person came up to you and was like, hey, give me your number? Like, you gotta tee that shit up.
It's like what those guys did to you with the ATM.
It's a bit of an
this is common sense. I mean, maybe you don't think about it that way, but like, come on. Like,
and you know what? You deserve this because you obviously knew you were into her the whole time you were volunteering, and your lazy ass didn't put in any work to lay any kind of foundation whatsoever.
I bet you did in his mind, therefore he felt it was all done already.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. I think a lot of dudes lay foundation in their brains, but they never actually do it publicly. Like, they think they basically come up with this elaborate plan, and then it just, in the end, it just, because it's not natural. Like, you can't really, I feel like a lot of people try to blueprint out like seduction attempts, and it's like there has to be it has to be dynamic. You can't really like plan on how you talk to people because conversations are fluid. Yeah.
So why would she give you her number?
But I will give the guy credit for being ballsy enough to ask for the number. So if he can put in
but
the
the
other
problem
work
is that-
behind it and around it, then he'll be getting in a better direction.
Yeah.
For
But
sure.
I mean, I certainly like when if
But-
someone was that direct with me, it just is like, ugh, get away from me. You're
But
like,
if he can ask a girl out without spending 3 weeks staring at her from a corner, or whatever,
Right,
that would be ideal.
right.
But she said to him, I don't know. I just met you, which isn't a no. It's an I don't know. I just met you, which is saying
It sounds like a no to me, but I'm a dude, so.
But,
see,
but that sounds like I want to get to know you. Who the hell are you?
She is
it's
saying,
her way
get to
of
know
saying,
me.
like, okay, I'm going to give you this other chance.
Yeah, so start talking.
Start talking.
Right.
And
Right.
then he could have, they're an improv. He should have bantery comebacks.
Yes, and.
For
Oh,
comments, I
that's
bet.
right.
Well, there's
That
a
would have been
reason-
funny if he was like, yes, and.
Well,
like
there's a reason why he's volunteering.
Yes, and you don't know me yet. but
Right.
you
At
soon
the
will.
improv. He's not in the improv.
Right. Well, you should start taking
Helping out.
lessons at Jet City so that you can know how to play around with comments like that. Because I feel like that's an open comment being thrown. back in your
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah, I mean, he missed a big window of opportunity.
Yeah.
I think so too. All right, that's all my questions. I got no more. I have nothing
Nice.
left. So that is the end of Analyze This. But thank you so much for helping answer those questions. I feel like you gave like a different perspective, which was really helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks for
It was
having
kind of
me.
nice. Yeah, it was interesting. Actually, I learned a lot
Yeah,
from you.
Yeah.
But I'm actually really glad that you did that experiment because so the guys that I work with, I give similar experiments to them. So the one experiment is going online and pretending they're a woman and just see like what kind of
Setting up a
responses.
profile like you're a
yes,
woman.
right, as
I mean,
a woman.
people have been doing that on the internet for 20 years.
but
so.
they actually act out maliciously to try and get money from you.
But like just to see how people's responses are to set up a profile. Yeah.
Just so a man can get the understanding of what a woman's going through and how many people are coming at her
Yeah.
and what the questions are. And
I looked at one of my friend's Tinder accounts, a girl, and it was shocking. And she had like 300 messages
Yeah.
at once.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
insane.
And like, and I mean, she was not like a supermodel. She was like a normal-looking human being. She wasn't like some apex predator type.
Right.
And she was still like the amount of people that were hitting her up were just off the wall.
Crazy. Well, I think that guys should
Check out-
use you as an example. Check out your article for sure in Vice, but do the same thing that you did and literally ask the past 5 women that they have approached, like why they were rejected.
Yeah, but like be nice about it.
Yes, be nice about it, obviously. But thank you
don't
so
be a
much for
weirdo.
being on our show. What's your Twitter handle?
At Jonathan D. Brown.
At Jonathan D.
Spell it out.
Brown.
JONATHANDBROWN.
And you have some
Awesome.
stuff coming out soon on Vice, some more stuff as well.
Yeah, and
And you had that Pauly Shore article.
I wrote
intern
yeah,
for-
and there's a movie coming out on VOD soon. I have a small part in called Bad Milo with Ken Marino.
Oh, awesome.
Camarino.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show. And guys, if you want to send your questions in to Analyze This, write to ask@askwommenpodcast.com.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter
Yes.
at Ask Women Podcast.
And on Instagram at Ask
Yeah.
Women Pod.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
And men, do something manly this week, please. Man up and just get her.
Waffles.
Yeah.
Waffles.
But yeah, but we have on our Twitter, we've gotten a lot of guys tweeting about how they've bought things on Amazon.
They did, but
for
pass.
us.
But the contest is over.
I know the contest is over, but it's still okay. They're showing us that they're doing this, which is amazing for us because it helps us stay on the air. I mean, let's
absolutely.
face it, this business is all about the money.
Well, let's face it,
That's why
nothing
we're
for
doing
free
this.
anymore, okay? So when
Not-
you get on there and you order, it helps us be free for you.
Yeah, these 3 booties, we got to keep it free for, I don't know. Anyway,
we
so
got to
just-
keep them tight and lifted, and
yeah.
then, so we can sit on these chairs.
And of
properly.
course, you'll find the Amazon banner on our Podcast One page.
And
So
what is the link for that page?
it is podcast1.com/ask-women.
I know.
Bingo.
There's so many like different
I never
combinations.
know if it's forwards. No, I think it is forwards.
No, it's
I never-
backslash.
Okay, I never know. That's why
Oh, I don't know what backslash or forward slash is.
I always hesitate there because I never know if it's backslash or forward slash, and then I stutter because I'm trying to figure it out, and I should know this by this age.
You got it.
Yeah, and
You
so should
got
the
it.
people who are listening. They should know. We don't have to ever
Right.
have to repeat that
Just
sentence
freaking
again.
Google Ask Women, and you'll go to
Exactly.
And then bookmark that shit.
bookmark it.
So then you can just go in and order straight
Since
from
you
that.
probably don't read like real books and don't have real bookmarks, at least have one bookmark and have it on your computer for our page.
Yes, there you go. I like it. Wait, so what are they showing you on Twitter? What are they
So
bought?
someone, I mean, I can't remember exactly, but there was a tweet. Someone had like they took a picture of their computer, like a screenshot, and it was the Ask Women like.
Why am I not
banner.
I
seeing
saw that.
these?
That's awesome.
Yeah, they were clicking. You could see their little mouse thing clicking on the Ask Women Amazon banner, and then someone sent a picture picture of like the items that they bought. And
What? I am on
love
that
you
all the
guys.
time. How do I not see this stuff?
Yeah,
Maybe
you
I'm
gotta-
not looking hard enough.
yeah, you got to.
Well, how about this? We do a contest now, and we'll do it for the month of September. The person that gets the highest amount, that spends the most, they could come on the show, and all four of us will give them advice.
I love that.
I like that.
Well, we could have them as
You
a
can even
guest.
have an alias if you want.
This concludes another PodcastOne.com program.